Hey, everybody, it's Matt. This is the 10-Minute Bible Hour podcast. We got some weird birthday stuff that we do as a family. I don't know if we have a clear strategy or not. Birthdays are like 4 days long now, and everybody gives everybody gifts, and we don't have any like, oh, it's got to be $5 or $2 spending limit cap for the kids. I don't know. There's no consistency whatsoever. And so this last birthday we did for my daughter, like we went and got her a piano for basically free off of Facebook, but she wanted a piano, so she got a piano, and she went to a musical with her mom, and everybody got her little presents and stuff. And her birthday's actually today, and I actually should probably be over there hanging out with her. So I should probably finish up this conversation and get over there real quick. But there have been a few times where the little guy, or the girls as well, have given a gift to their mom, and it's more than I think they probably should have spent, because they don't really have a lot of money because of how their kids, then they earn it, or they get it for like their birthdays from a grandparent, and they sit on it and they save it, and then they go and buy their mom like some really nice piece of jewelry that represents like 85% of the total money they have on hand or have any prospects of having again at any point in the future. I'm like, oh, guys, I don't know about that. But then I inevitably think of this Bible passage, and I'm not sure that's the best use of this Bible passage, but it's where my head always goes, because they love their mom so much that they're like, who cares if I burn through all my money? Like, this is the only time my mom is going to turn this many years old, and I am giving her this present because I love her and I want to. And then I guess I just let them spend it because Bible? I don't know. Let's see what you think. We're in Matthew 26, and we're in this little interlude in between a bunch of violent drama leading up to the arrest and trial and execution of Jesus. And just right here in the middle of it, Matthew plops this little story. Verse 6, while Jesus was in Bethany in the home of a man known as Simon the leper, a woman came to him with an alabaster jar of very expensive perfume, which she poured on his head as he was reclining at the table. And when the disciples saw this, they were indignant. Why this waste? They asked. This perfume could have been sold at a high price and the money given to the poor. And we're going to wait, because I'm not going to tell you what Jesus said just yet. But let's break this scene down just a bit. All right, we're at a leisurely Eastern Mediterranean meal. We've probably been sitting there for a really long time. This woman comes in. She's clearly planned this thing out. She's got an alabaster jar, which is literally everyone knows is like a gypsum type rock that can be carved and that can hold expensive perfumes, obviously. And so she's got some expensive perfume in there. And then she pours it out on Jesus' head while he's reclining at the table. Like, it doesn't sound like she made an announcement or anything else. And she just comes over and burns the whole jar. Now, look, my homework on this tells me that a jar of perfume like this could be like a lifetime possession. Like, you get one of these in that culture. Like, maybe this is part of a price that's paid between families to negotiate a marriage, like a dowry or something like that. This might be the blessing that a mother and father save up and hand along to their kids so that she would have some source of wealth if she got abandoned or tragedy befell her family or her husband. This is serious money that we're talking about. In terms of modern day wealth, just given what the U.S. dollar is at right now, this might be the equivalent of $50,000 to $75,000. Now, I don't know exactly how all of that math worked in the ancient world. I don't know how they came up with something that expensive, but a working person might have to work for an entire year to buy a container of perfume like we're talking about here. So just don't imagine that you ran up to Walgreens and bought a gift pack of Aspen cologne. It's got the little spray bottle, and then it's got the aftershave in there for $11. This is a little bit bigger deal than that. And it's the kind of thing where when she started doing it, my guess is nobody jumped up to stop her because they figured she would pour out like a drop, and maybe massage it into Jesus' hair. Or maybe they thought that she would, when they saw her holding the alabaster jar, that she'd go over and put it on its feet. That's the kind of place where a lot of times a perfume like that would go. But instead, she anoints his head, which is a gesture that has kind of a double meaning, right? The one would be the anointing of a king. The other obvious implication would be an anointing or a preparation for burial in this culture. But then she doesn't quit with like a drop, which would already cause people to clutch their chests a little bit. Like, oh, that drop was a lot of money. Think about that. No. She just keeps going. The whole thing. And I imagine as she's just dumping that out, everybody's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, what are we doing? Like, he's awesome and all, but do you have any idea what you just burned through? And my guess is that everybody's indignant before they even have time to think about what the right social response would be, because literally no one has practice with what the right social response would be in that situation other than like the Hollywood elites who sit around and roast gold marshmallows over bonfires made of $100 bills. This would be mind-boggling for even a relatively wealthy person. And before anybody can bite their tongue or think about what to say, it just says, when the disciples saw this, they were indignant. It's pretty nice of Matthew to lump himself into this for reasons we'll see in just a minute. And they say, why this waste? They asked. This perfume could have been sold at a high price and the money given to the poor. Well, who would it make sense out of the disciples to have these money concerns? All right, well, I think one of the most obvious answers is the guy writing the book. And Matthew counts pennies for a living. He's very detail-oriented in this regard. He knows exactly how much money would feed how many people for how long, and he probably has a pretty keen idea of how much that thing is worth because of the way taxation worked in the classical world. If you put all of the disciples into an hour-long show of The Price is Right, Matthew is going to win because he's going to know all those details off the top of his head. Possibility number two is that Judas Iscariot would be the one who would be bent out of shape about that because he's the guy who's keeping the money. It's so weird that they put that guy in charge of the money. I feel like that sort of makes a point about the things that are valuable in the kingdom versus the things that are valuable in the world kingdom. Jesus' actions there really back up the things that he said because money's money, world kingdom stuff. Give to Caesar's, whatever. He hands it to Judas Iscariot, knowing dang well what Judas Iscariot would do with money. And for that matter, knowing dang well what Judas Iscariot would do for money. Well, whatever the case, at least one, probably more than one of the disciples is up. The relaxed scene is over, and they are creating this whole incident that frankly ruined the moment. Like just think about what happened here. This lady, whoever this is, she's not getting another alabaster vial of that perfume in her lifetime. No way. And once word about this gets out, nobody would trust her with one anyway. She just burned it like all at once. Nobody does that. She's never going to get to play this card again. Never. That was her thing. I mean, maybe that was her childhood. Maybe that was her dowry. Maybe that was something that her mom paid a tremendous price to obtain and hand on to her. It was part of her family legacy. She only gets to fire this bullet one time. And what you want is for everybody to shut their mouths while you do it and let the moment be the moment. I tinker around with music and making videos and stuff on the internet, and when I show something that I've put real artistic work into, I super want everybody that I'm showing it to just be quiet because it can only hit them for the first time, one time. Or when I tell somebody a story that is deeply from the heart, I only get one first time to tell them that too. And I hope people will read the room and be respectful. The disciples were not respectful. They got so panicked about their economy of how things ought to be, and they were so quick to go all pious with this woman that they just wrecked it. They stomped all over this beautiful thing that she could only do once and that you can't get back. I mean, this is like standing up and embarrassing yourself at your kid's ballet recital or big performance that they play on the piano with the whole room, like they're going to run out in tears. Look at what you did, you idiot. Those are the emotions I feel here. And so what happens next is going to say a lot about how dialed socially Jesus is, about how attentive he would be to a character that would be, frankly, a little bit more disposable because she's a woman. And this is a time where those gender roles were thought about a little bit differently. If he doesn't give a rip about the beauty and artistry of this moment, if he doesn't understand what she's doing and what this means, it says something weird about him. But if he does, it puts him at odds with all of his disciples, and it means that he's about to chastise a room full of people for completely misreading a situation and him being apparently the only one who's reading it right, along with this woman. Well, we'll see what his response is next time around, but come on, you're smart. I wouldn't have told you the story that I told you at the beginning of our conversation about my kids giving lavish gifts to their mom. Spoiler alert, that's where we're headed with Jesus' response. I'm Matt. This is the 10-Minute Bible Hour podcast. Let's do this again soon.